Are you playing an offensive game or are you playing a defensive game? Hello friends, my name is Fred. I want to talk to us today about the game of life. And we see this a lot in some sports like American football or perhaps even soccer, where the dominating team are the ones who are playing or often play the offensive game. The goal is to get that ball onto the opponent's side, right? Whether it's a touchdown or whether it's to get that ball into the net. The other team decides to play a defensive game for whatever reason, and so they spend their time and energy just playing the defensive. The danger in that, whilst I understand there's a time and place for that, is that you lose control. You now give control of the ball or the game to the other side who are playing the offensive. And so all they're doing now is to find a position to penetrate that defensive or that defensive wall and to get that ball into the net or onto touchdown. We see this in businesses where companies decide for whatever reason not to invest in R&D, research and development. They don't invest in innovation. They don't invest in change. They don't invest in their people. They hold on to that market share and until another company comes to disrupt that strategy and sends this company out of business. Are you playing an offensive game or are you playing a defensive game? Perhaps you've been hurt in the past and so you decide not to love or trust someone again. That's fair. Perhaps you've lost money in the stock market or in investments and so you decide not to invest anymore. You're holding onto your cash under your pillow, hopefully not, or in a bank. That's fair. But the purpose of life, my friends, is not to play a defensive game forever. I understand if it's a temporary strategy, perhaps the team's calling a timeout so they can re-strategize and come back strong. Perhaps you're taking a timeout just to observe things, re-strategize your life and come back strong. But I hope that you're not sitting on the defensive line or sitting on the sidelines forever refusing to go into the game because you've been hurt. Yes, you may have been hurt and there may be a reason why you're sitting on the sideline. That's fair. But as long as you're making this a perpetual strategy where you decide not to go at all into the game anymore, becomes problematic. This game of life is all about getting to the end zone. It's all about running to win. As long as you're making progress towards that end goal, my friend, that is all that matters. So here's a question I want to ask you. Are you playing an offensive game? Is your goal to play to win, to run to win? Are you in control of that ball? Are you headed towards that end zone? Or have you decided just to stay put where you are and to defend that game for the rest of the duration? You may be in quarter one, you may be injured, and there's still 3 quarters to go. It's a long game, it's a journey, and I understand that. It may be prudent, yes, to take some time to nurse those wounds, so to get yourself into that position to come back strong. But you can't allow yourself to be kicked out of the game or to stay out of the game just because your team is down or just because you've suffered a setback. We've seen this happen so many times in the game of football where teams are down, they go on halftime, they come back, they re-strategize, and they come back strong. They go on the offensive and they win. It is a classic and I love it. I know it's difficult sometimes. We all go through life and we're kicked from all sides and we're forced to sit on the sidelines. I understand that. But we can't use that as a perpetual excuse to play a defensive game forever. What are your goals? What dreams? What expectations? What do you have right now that you're sitting on and playing defensive with? Because you've been hurt, because you've been disappointed, because you've been rejected, because someone says no, because someone says you're not worth it. Yes, it can be discouraging, but sometimes the greatest cheerleader you have, my friends, is yourself. You may be temporarily down, but that's okay. We have to get back up, my friends. And I'm speaking to myself because I've also allowed sometimes life to push me into that defensive posture. And sometimes I decide I'm not even going to get into this game again. But I realize that this game is about me. I am in control. I make the choices. And as long as I decide to stay on the defensive, nothing is going to happen. So encourage yourself, my friends, whatever it takes, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through reading your books, whether it's talking to a coach, Whatever it takes to get yourself back into the game to play that offensive, do that. What game are you playing, my friends? Are you playing an offensive game? Are you playing to get to the other side? Are you playing to score that touchdown for yourself, for your family, for the people you love? Or have you given up entirely and resorted to play a defensive game? When you stop playing to win and start playing not to lose, you're playing defense. What are you going to do today to get yourself back into the game, to get yourself back towards that finish line, to get yourself back towards that end goal, to get yourself back towards the life that you've been called to live? Are you playing an offensive game to win, or are you merely playing a defensive game not to lose? Thank you for watching, and as always, think on these things.